Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Banachari Jamuna Tira Banachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा वृंदावन चंद्र राधा वृंदावन चंद्र राधे जय निताई गौरंगा निताई गौरंगा निताई गौरंगा जय निताई गौरंगा जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद।
founder Acharya, savior of the whole world, Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granth-raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, first, titled Creation. Chapter 4, the appearance of Sri Narada. Today we will be reading text number 4. Tasya putraha mahayogi. Tasya putro mahayogi. Samadrik nirvikalpaha. Nirvikalpakaha. Ekant Samadrik nirvikalpakaha. Ekantamatihi unnidraha. Ekantamatirunidro. Gudhaha Mudha Iva Iyate. Gudho Mudha Iveyate. Gudho Mudha Iveyate. Tasya putro mahayogi. Samadrik nirvikalpakaha. It is Samadrin nirvikalpakaha because that drik and ni, they combine and become ni. Samadrin nirvikalpakaha. Ekantamatirunidro. Gudho Mudha Iveyate. Tasya putro mahayogi. Samadrin nirvikalpakaha. Ekantamatirunidro. Gudho Mudha Iveyate. Tasya putro mahayogi. Samadrin nirvikalpakaha. Ekantamatirunidro. Gudho Mudha Iveyate. Tasya putro mahayogi. Samadrin nirvikalpakaha. Ekantamatirunidro. Gudho Mudha Iveyate. Tasya putro mahayogi. Samadrin nirvikalpakaha. Ekantamatirunidro. Gudho Mudha Iveyate. Tasya putro mahayogi. समद्रिन्निर्विकल्पकः एकान्तमतिरुन्निद्रो गूढो मूढ इवेयते तस्य पुत्रो महायोगी समद्रिन्निर्विकल्पकः एकान्तमतिरुन्निद्रो गूढो मूढ इवेयते तस्य पुत्रो महायोगी समद्रिन्निर्विकल्पकः एकान्तमतिरुन्निद्रो गूढो मूढ इवेयते तस्य पुत्रो महायोगी समद्रिन्निर्विकल्पकः एकान्तमतिरुन्निद्रो गूढो मूढ इवेयते. Word to word translation. Tasya, his, putraha, son, Mahayogi, a great devotee, Samadrik, equibalanced, Nirvikalpakaha, absolute monist, Ekantamatihi, fixed in monism or oneness of mind, Unnidraha, surpassed nescience, Gudhaha, not exposed, Moodhaha, stunted, Iva, like, Iyate, appears like. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. His, Vyasadeva's son, was a great devotee, an equibalanced monist, whose mind was always concentrated in monism. He was transcendental to mundane activities, but being unexposed, he appeared like an ignorant person. Translation with repetition. His, Vyasadeva's son, was a great devotee, an equibalanced monist, whose mind was always concentrated in monism. He was transcendental to mundane activities, but being unexposed, he appeared like an ignorant person. Purport. Srila Shukdev Goswami was a liberated soul, and thus he remained always alert not to be trapped by the illusory energy. In the Bhagavad Gita, this alertness is very lucidly explained. The liberated soul and the conditioned soul have different engagements. The liberated soul is always engaged in the progressive path of spiritual attainment, which is something like a dream for the conditioned soul. The conditioned soul cannot imagine the actual engagements of the liberated soul. While the conditioned soul thus dreams about spiritual engagements, the liberated soul is awake. Similarly, the engagement of a conditioned soul appears to be dream for the liberated soul. A conditioned soul and liberated soul may apparently be on the same platform, but factually they are differently engaged, and their attention is always alert, either in sense enjoyment or in self-realization. The conditioned soul is absorbed in matter, whereas the liberated soul is completely indifferent to matter. This indifference is explained as follows. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं तारिणं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीचैतन्यमिश्रम्। Hare Krishna. So today we will be discussing on the fourth shloka of the fourth chapter, which is titled as the appearance of Sri Narada, from the first canto, titled as creation. In the first canto, initially the sages that have assembled in the Naimisharanya had asked 6 questions to Suta Goswami, and in answer to those 6 questions is the answer to these 6 questions is the rest of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Specifically, it was asked about whom is the religion now under the shelter of, because Lord Shri Krishna is not present here now. So, of whom has the dharma or the religion has taken shelter of? That was one of the specific questions. And in answer to that, it was told at the end of the third chapter that it is Srimad Bhagavatam whose shelter the dharma has taken now. It is said, Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Sammitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishihi Nishreyasaya Lokasya Dhanyam Swasteyanam Mahata Tadidam Grahayamasa Sutamatmavatam Varam Sarvadehe Vede Itihasanam Saram Samudritam. This was delivered, this Bhagavatam, which is the literary incarnation of God. It was compiled by Vyasadeva, who is also an incarnation of God, and it is meant for the ultimate good of the people, and it was delivered first by Vyasadeva to his son, who is the most respected among the self-realized, and this was delivered after extracting the cream of all Vedic literatures and the histories of the universe. Now, after getting the brief or short answers to their questions, the 6 questions that were posted by these sages, and Suta Goswami has told that it is Bhagavatam whose shelter the dharma has taken, the religion has taken, and it is for the welfare of all, the ultimate welfare of all the people. And it was told to his son. So very obvious question that the sages had was to understand the history of Srimad Bhagavatam. Where was this spoken? When was it spoken? What place? What was the reason? And that is what was asked in the previous shloka, the third shloka. Kasmin yuge pravritteyam sthane va kena hetuna kutah sanchoditah Krishna kritavan samhitam munihi. In what period and at what place was this first begun, and why was this taken up? From where did Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa, the great sage, get the inspiration to compile this literature? So these questions have been asked. There are few more questions which will be asked in this chapter itself, and as a result, or in the course of answering those questions, Vyasadeva will be speaking about Narada Muni, his appearance there in front of Vyasadeva, Vyasadeva's dejection, and Narada Muni appearing to free him of the dejection. There will be discussions about Parikshit Maharaj's appearance, the curse, and so those topics. So that is what will be spoken in the rest of the chapters of this particular canto, the first canto. So today here, based on the question where it was spoken, in what period, at what place, and why was this taken up? From where did he compile all this knowledge? So first, the beginning of the answer of Suta Goswami is with the description of Shukdev Goswami, who received this Srimad Bhagavatam. So Suta Goswami is first describing about the recipient, the first recipient of Srimad Bhagavatam in its current sense. So who was it? He was his son, Vyasadeva's son, and he was not just because he was son he was being given this knowledge. He was a Mahayogi. He's a great devotee. And he is an equibalanced monist. He's a Samadrik. Samadrik means he's equibalanced. He sees success, failure, all other things or the dualities of this world in equality. And he's a monist. He is actually an impersonalist right now. Although he's a devotee, but his understanding about the Supreme is impersonal understanding. And his mind is always concentrated in monism. He's completely focused on his understanding. That means he's focused on the transcendental subject matter. He was transcendental to mundane activities. As we know the history of Shukdev Goswami, that he remained in the womb of his mother for more than 9 months. Correct? How many years or months he remained? 12 years. It's mentioned. 11, 12 years. So he was in the womb of his mother, and because of that, he was unexposed to the mundane activities and the material activities and the things. And it appeared, because of his lack of exposure to material things, it appeared like he was an ignorant person. I don't know whether earlier you had been seeing movies when you came to before coming to Krishna consciousness. But I remember seeing some of the movies where the hero, it was shown that hero will be coming from some simple village from some part of India, and he'll be landing in Bombay. Those days it was called Bombay. And he will be coming for working there or acting or something like that. And the first time he comes and he gets down on the railway station of Mumbai or on the streets of Mumbai, it is shown that he's mesmerized by everything, correct, around him. Those tall buildings, lot of people rushing here and there, trains running up and down continuously. So the person is mesmerized and he's carrying some bags with him and he's fully lost into the vastness of Bombay or too many people in Bombay and all those things. And somewhere innocently he keeps his bag, somebody steals his bag. All those things, that kind of depiction used to be there. Because those people were not exposed to Mumbai kind of atmosphere, they look like ignorant people. Moodha, here the word is used, moodha. And those people in Bombay who are very smart, very chalu, they will steal this person, they will cheat him, and then he will be totally lost, and then somebody will come and help him, and then gradually he will start building his career, and he'll become a very big person eventually. Something like that, those movies used to be. So here, the beginning is almost like that. He's a moodha, seems like an ignorant person, and he's now walking on the street. He's taken birth, and straight away he has started running because he does not want to get engaged into any mundane material activities. But here he is not mesmerized by the material world. In fact, he is indifferent to it. He is equibalanced, correct? Equibalanced monist. And he is fully focused on monism. He is not ignorant like those simpleton folks who come from small villages to cities like Mumbai or Delhi or other metro cities. He is not allured by the vastness or the greatness of those cities. In fact, when Shukdev Goswami entered the streets of Hastinapur also, he was not attracted by the grandeur of Hastinapur. He was focused on his own meditation of the Supreme Lord. By that time, he had already heard Bhagavatam and he was a pure devotee by then. From a monist, he had turned to a pure devotee. So there also he was not at all mesmerized by Hastinapur. He was still appearing like an ignorant person. He was completely naked. People were throwing, children were throwing stones. They were making jokes on him. They were teasing him. Correct? So, but he was indifferent to all those things. So that is the nature that is described here. He was transcendental to mundane activities, but being unexposed, he appeared like an ignorant person. So this is some of the description about Shukdev Goswami. In the next shloka also, there will be some more description of Shukdev Goswami that we will get to hear. But here in purport, Srila Prabhupada brings about some very important points. Srila Prabhupada is talking about Srila Shukdev Goswami was a liberated soul, and thus he remained always alert not to be trapped by illusory energy. So this alertness of Shukdev Goswami, although he was a liberated soul, he was very alert to not get trapped by the illusory energy. And then Prabhupada mentions that in the Bhagavad Gita, this alertness is very lucidly explained. In the rest of the portion of this purport, Srila Prabhupada talks about the differentiation between the liberated soul and conditioned soul. Correct? Prabhupada talks about the different engagements. They both have different engagements. One is on the progressive path of spiritual attainment, and another one is in a dreamy state of material achievements. The conditioned soul cannot imagine the actual engagements of liberated soul, and while the conditioned soul dreams about spiritual engagements, liberated soul is awake. So like this, Prabhupada talks about these two important aspects, the difference between the liberated soul and the conditioned soul, their engagements, and the another important aspect, which is the alertness that is maintained by even the liberated souls while they are existing within this material world. It is extremely important. We have very frequently heard that statement by Srila Prabhupada stating that how spiritual life is like walking on the razor's edge. Right? We have to be very alert while practicing spirituality. Shurasya dhara nishita duhaya, correct? So that is what it is said, that this spiritual life is like walking on the razor's edge. A moments of inattention may cause a cut or an havoc in our life, is what is described. So in spiritual life, we have to be extremely alert, and how to be alert is what is described in Bhagavad Gita. Srila Prabhupada says, so this description is mainly in the 6th chapter, the Dhyana Yoga chapter, where we understand about how a person should be alert in his spiritual life. How to remain alert, rather. In the 6th chapter, 5th shloka, Krishna talks about the mind. Correct? He says, Uddhared atmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet atmaiva hi atmano bandhur atmaiva ripuratmanaha. A man must elevate himself by his own mind and not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. So here Prabhupada talks about how we should be continuously training the mind. We should not let the mind get carried away by the deceptions, or we should not let ourselves get carried away by the deceptions of the mind. The mind will create so many deceptions for us. But then a person should be very much aware what is exactly mind trying to do with us. So this alertness is very much essential. It is described that mind is restless, mind is turbulent, obstinate, and very, very strong. And the alertness of mind, it means that we should be alert about what exactly are the thoughts that are appearing in our mind. We should be an observer of the thoughts of the mind. That should be continuous observation. Otherwise, one particular thought and we will get carried away and we will be lost into some material activity. So we should be continuously be vigilant about what kind of thoughts are appearing in our mind. We must be mindful that, or we must be watchful that the mind should not delve into sense gratification. That should be our continuous observation. That alertness should be there. Right? Otherwise, what happens is, the mind, as it is said here, that it is Ripur Atmanaha. Ripur means it is an enemy. If the mind is not properly observed upon, we are not alert of what kind of thoughts are appearing in our mind, then the materialistic thought, the deceptive thoughts will actually, instead of taking us further ahead or instead of being progressive in our life, we will be we will be engaging in certain materialistic activities, and if not degrading, we will not be advancing at all in our life. So that is what we need to be very careful about, and we should be conscious of which way the mind is pulling us. Every thought that comes to our mind, we should be conscious of it. Where is this thought taking me? That is very much necessary for a devotee to be observant about. That is called as alertness for a devotee. So many thoughts will keep coming up, so many things or so many thoughts will come about a certain situation or a certain interaction. But then we should immediately try to contemplate what exactly is this thought about. Whether it is taking me towards spirituality, it is helping me to advance in spirituality, or whether it is taking me to the base human values back again. So that conscious observation should always be kept onto the mind. Then for the alertness, we should also always be thinking about the regulated lifestyle. That is what Prabhupada tells here in the just a second. It is in the 17th shloka. Yes, the regulations. Yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnava bodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. He who is temperate in his habits of eating, sleeping, working and recreation can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. So regulation in our life related to food, related to rest, our engagements and our recreation is extremely essential, and that will help us to be alert. If we are excessive in either of these things, our alertness in spiritual life will be compromised. We will not be able to stay alert. If we are eating too much, we will be drowsy. If we are sleeping too much, there will be laziness which will creep in. If we sleep too less, then there will be a lot of inattention. We will be distracted. Correct? We cannot focus. If we are too much into recreation, then that will also be not helpful, because we will just be spending our time, wasting our time. And our engagements also, we have to be temperate in those engagements, so that we will be able to again work the next day as well. Next day as well, we will be able to continue our services. Another way to remain alert is to see how much the other situations or these outwardly situations are distracting us in our life. The example is given of that of a lamp, correct? Yatha deepa nivatastho nengate sopama smrita yogino yata chittasya yujjato yogamatmanaha. As a lamp in a windless place does not waver, so a transcendentalist whose mind is controlled remains always steady in his meditation on the transcendental self. If our mind, if our consciousness is getting disturbed or distracted by slight variations, just like the lamp, if it is kept in a room where there is no wind, it will the flame will be very steady. Slight movement of air or a breeze, it will immediately start shaking. If there is wind, the lamp, there is a danger that the lamp may get turned off. Isn't it? So if we also should be conscious, whether conscious of the the surroundings, whether those surroundings are affecting me, affecting my consciousness, or what is happening exactly. How much I'm allowing those situations to affect my consciousness. Because a yogi should be unwavered, correct? He should be alert and unwavered. So if there is a situation which is causing certain distraction, certain disturbance to our mind, we should immediately reconcile ourselves and try to bring about certain spiritual understanding about that situation. Sometimes some person may say some statements which will get affected, our ego will get hurt, and we may get angry or disturbed or dejected. But immediately we should try to understand, what is this situation all about? What is it that is happening here? Those words, are they affecting me, affecting my ego? Or what is exactly happening there? Are those words true in the spiritual sense, or they are just related to a situation, maybe my bodily situation or a situation which I was into? Is it only related to that, or is it related to my soul? Often, or rather always, we will find that any such comments which disturb us, they will mostly be related to our physical situations, or our mental state, our physical health, correct? Or our intellectual abilities. They will never be related to our spiritual situation. Because in the spiritual situation, there is nothing that can hurt us. If anybody points out about our spiritual situation, there is nothing that can hurt us. What can hurt us is something that is related to our ego, the ego that we are carrying. Suppose somebody says, "Arey, you are just a very neophyte person." Okay, neophyte, I may be appearing neophyte right now. Spiritually, I am anyways eternally connected to Krishna. I may be neophyte because in this body I would have spent many, many years in materialistic activities, but at least now I have come to Krishna consciousness. From Krishna's perspective, from Srila Prabhupada's perspective, I am not a neophyte. I am a pure devotee of theirs, eventually. Actually, I am a pure devotee. But right now, because of my so long material association, I appear to be a neophyte right now. So if the comment is to the soul, it will not affect you so much. But when the comment is to the activity per se, neophyte in what sense? Oh, you cannot even chant shlokas. You cannot even do these activities properly. You have not even read Bhagavad Gita. You have not understood Bhagavad Gita. Something like that comments, if they come about, we feel hurt at times. We feel, oh, this person is trying to belittle me. And then that disturbance is actually because we are taking those statements directly to the ego. It is our ego that is the problem, not the person's statements. So a person, a devotee, the way he has to be alert is, he should be mindful that this particular statement or this situation, if it is causing disturbance to me, means my consciousness is right now not Krishna consciousness. If it was Krishna consciousness, then that statement I would have understood either it is related to the body or the soul. If it is related to body, I am not concerned with it. It is just for the small time that I am here in this body, it is related to. It is not an eternal statement. If it is related to the soul also, is it the way Krishna and Prabhupada are also seeing me? Not necessarily. Maybe this devotee is seeing me like that, or this person is seeing me like that. But Krishna and Prabhupada are not seeing me from the perspective of this person. So there is no cause for disturbance for a devotee. There is another shloka in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says, Yasman no dvijate loko, lokan no dvijate chayaha. That means, Harshamarsha bhayodvegair mukto yaha sachame priyaha. So what is that? Yasman no dvijate logo. One who is not disturbed by the people, correct? One who is not disturbed by people and one who does not cause disturbance to others. One who is not disturbed by others. Whatever person is doing to you, whatever person is speaking to you, whatever his disposition is towards you, if you are not disturbed and you don't do your activities which cause disturbance to others, then you are very dear to Krishna. So we have to practice this alertness that I should not get disturbed by situations. I should not get disturbed by the statements of the people towards me. That should not be the cause of disturbance for us. So that is one of the characteristics. That is one of the way that a devotee can remain alert. Yasman no dvijate loko, lokan no dvijate chaya. Udvijate. Udvijate means to become, to erupt in terms of emotions or to get affected by. So Yasman no dvijate loko, lokan no dvijate chaya. Neither I should get affected by others, nor I should cause disturbance to others. So this should be the behavior of the devotee. So this will help us to stay alert in our Krishna consciousness always. If we are conscious whether I am getting disturbed or I am disturbing others, then I should correct myself. So if that alertness if a devotee has, then he will be very easily able to progress in Krishna consciousness. Another way to remain alert is to be vigilant of our environment and our surroundings. Most of the times when we are in temple or in association of devotees, we find everything is going right. When we are in temple, when we are devotees, we are doing our services. Correct? But when we are in some outside association, when we are maybe going out for preaching or meeting our family members or other friends or relatives, and the association is not very much Krishna conscious, that is where we feel disturbance. That is where we start getting distracted. We have often seen that a devotee, when he goes to his home or meets his friends, relatives and all, lot of distractions creep in. Lot of old memories creep in, old desires. Correct? All those things, they suddenly come as a big wave and it disturbs our consciousness. So devotee in midst of all these other associations, non-devotee associations, should be extremely alert, extremely careful about what is the mind's intake there. What actually mind is trying to take in. We should not get carried away by the superficials. Like when we go, or you would be seeing now, 2 days ago there was a wedding which was happening here in temple complex, correct? There was a devotee who came and spoke to us, and the devotee said, Prabhu, what is this? You're conducting a marriage. I know you yourself as devotee will not be liking it. How can we get distracted by all such things happening around us? We have come here to do our devotional service, to render devotional service to the Lord. How can we get distracted by these things? So, for that devotee, these are distractions because the consciousness is not very alert. For an alert devotee, in midst of all this, he will be able to perceive what are these people engaged in. Okay, they are engaged in some worldly activity. They are displaying their richness through their dresses, through the decorations that they have made, correct? Or through their dance and songs and loud music and all those things. They are trying to celebrate something in this place which is full of miseries. They are trying to celebrate some occasion of theirs. That is their, in the sense it's a very hard effort they are putting to enjoy a situation here in this world full of miseries. If that perspective we have, we will not be getting affected by that. But if we are very superficial in our own Krishna consciousness, we will get distracted. Oh, see, people are wearing so nice dresses, so nice enjoyment, so much nice food, isn't it? Decorations. Everybody is cheerful and happy. This life I have left and I have taken to Krishna consciousness. Somebody's mind it may come. His life is so nice, isn't it? That is not the life, niceness of the life. That is just a small glimpse that is given to you to attract back into Maya. But what will happen after that? Like most of our movies, they show all those nice affairs between a hero and a heroine and everything, and at the end they say, and they happily lived ever after. Correct? But they don't show the next part of the movie. After that, there is no part 2 of the happily living after, because there are so many challenges in the real life, isn't it? The life of love and affection which is before the marriage, or the glamorous life, or the enjoyment full of enjoyment life which appears to be before marriage, is not so post marriage. There are a lot of challenges, there are a lot of adjustments, compromises, there are difficulties, correct? There are mutual karmas, Because now the two jivas who were having different karmas have come together. There are mutual karmas which are going to affect each other. So the life is not happily lived ever after. So these kind of incidences, when we visit our family after maybe a long time, or we meet our friends, relatives, or when we experience such celebrations, there is a huge rush of different desires which comes into our mind. So a devotee, if he is not situated properly in his consciousness, these waves of desires will overpower his consciousness. They will cause lot of distraction. The devotee will take a lot of time to come back to his consciousness. So for that, what we have to do? We have to be conscious while we are in other associations. Jitatmanaha prashantasya paramatma samahitaha shitoshna sukhe dukkheshu tatha manapamanayo. For one who has conquered the mind, the super soul is already reached, for he has attained tranquility. Chitatmanaha prashantasya. There is one particular ocean which is called as Prashanta Mahasagara. Correct? Pacific Ocean. It is very peaceful, that ocean. Generally ocean is very turbulent, but Prashanta Mahasagara is very peaceful. It is Pacific Ocean. So like that, in that ocean there are hardly any disturbances. So devotee actually, by his alertness in Krishna consciousness, is always peaceful in midst of all such situations. Because he will be able to see the reality behind the scenes that are visible to our naked eyes. We should always be trying to see the reality behind everything. We should not just get carried away by the outwardly glamour that is being visible. If you, just a small example of this, that wedding which was happening here, me and some other devotees were going and seeing some arrangements. Our sarovar was beautifully decorated and they were going to have some Varamala ceremony there. Correct? And the bride was supposed to arise from a particular platform at a particular stage which was higher than everybody's, and she was going to walk down the stairs, and there was a mala which was supposed to come by drone, and it was going to come into their hands and fall onto them. There was flowers which are going to shower. We were seeing the back end of all this that was happening. The bride which was standing on the pedestal, that lift, it was so poorly decorated. It was very old. The clothes were shabby on it. Only thing that was appearing was very nice. Overall presentation was looking nice. But behind the back of house, if you go and see, there were so many things. It was all dirty and messy, everything not properly arranged. Our sarovar, which was looking like decorated, was some chemicals were put into it and some things and all. So if we go into the reality and if we try to see not just the things that are appearing to our naked eyes, but go behind all of those things and see, then you will come to the reality. Oh, this is just facade. This is just some front thing that is being shown to us. Behind that marriage, so many other things would have gone. How much dowry to be taken, correct? What to be done, what not to be done. So many arguments would have happened between both the parties. Both parties would be having so much differences. Oh, this was not done for me, that was not done for this. Our uncle was not treated properly, aunt was not treated properly. So many such things. There will be so many ugly scenes behind. But what appears to the naked eye is all very, very nice, dreamy things. So, what is conditioned soul absorbed in this purport Prabhupada is telling? The conditioned soul is absorbed in this dreamy state of material life. And at that particular time, the liberated soul is completely awake to the reality. We should be awakened to the reality. We should not be in a dreamy state. Oh, happily lived ever after. That is a dreamy state. Reality is, no, it is not like that. Not so happily lived ever after. There are its own challenges. There are difficulties. When Lord is stating that this world is dukkhalayam, it is the abode of miseries, it is the house of miseries, there cannot be happiness here in this world. So we have to be awake to that reality. When we are in different situations, with friends, in our college, in our schools, or in our offices, in midst of business or in midst of celebrations, we should always remain awake to the reality. We should not be in a dreamy state of materialistic materialistic show that is being presented to us. The next way to remain alert is about continuous awareness of Krishna. We have to be continuously aware of Krishna. While we are, say, when we are going to interact with a person, we should remind ourselves that this person is the jiva and he has taken up this body because based on Paramatma's mercy upon that jiva to fulfill his karma, and there is Paramatma also residing in this jiva. So I should have a soul to soul talk, not an soul to ego or ego to ego talk. So our discussions should be on the soul platform rather than on ego platform. Ego platform means it will only be related to maybe certain bodily identification, certain bodily activities or physical activities, instead of being at the soul level, spiritual talk. So we should see that our conversation with this person whom we are going to interact with, it is going to be at the spiritual level, not at material level. Not just about our looks and our talks and our achievements and all those things, but it should be about spiritual things. How much in Krishna, how this discussion can be Krishna conscious discussion, how it can be related to Krishna. That should be our continuous awareness. We should be aware that there is Paramatma sitting in this devotee's heart, in this person's heart, and that Paramatma is guiding this devotee. So whatever interaction happens is guided by Paramatma. That also we should be continuously aware of. We should be aware that all the situations, all the arrangements in this world are brought about by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself for a devotee. For that sake, for a non-devotee also. So as a devotee, if we are interacting or if we are in a situation, this situation is brought about by the Supreme Lord in my life. The service that I have been engaged in is assigned to me by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this assignment, this situation has been brought about in my life for my purification. So with that perspective, we should have that interaction, or that we should see that situation. So that will give us the continuous awareness of the Supreme Lord. And if there is such a situation where we are not able to relate anything with the Lord, we are not able to connect it with the Lord, because right now we are maybe overpowered by emotions or some other subject matter, and we are not able to connect that situation with the Supreme Lord directly, we should at least be remembering the Lord by chanting the holy names. So that will continuously give us the awareness of the Supreme Lord. Right? That is what Krishna says in here in Bhagavad Gita. He says, what is that shloka? Yoginam api sarvesham. Yeah, it is. First is 29th and then 47th shloka. Sarva bhutastham atmanam sarva bhutani chatmani ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshanaha. A true yogi, he observes me in all beings and also sees every being in me. Indeed, the self-realized man sees me everywhere. So that alertness we should have, that we are in constant awareness of Lord's presence. A yogi observes me in all beings and also sees every being in me. Indeed, the self-realized man sees me everywhere. Ishvara sarva bhutanam. Prabhupada in the purport is connecting that shloka. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hriddeshe arjuna tishtati. And then again in the 47th shloka, yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmanaha shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yukta tamomataha. One who always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me. So that continuous awareness of the Lord is very much necessary, which will help us to remain alert in Krishna consciousness. So our alertness is by continuous awareness of Krishna. Our alertness is by being vigilant about our environments, about our surroundings, about our association. Our alertness will be by leading a regulated life in Krishna consciousness, and our alertness will be by seeing the mind's deceptions, how mind is decepting us, causing deceptions, various deceptions to us. So in all these matters, we have to be continuously alert in Krishna consciousness. A moment's inattention will cause havoc in our life, Prabhupada says. It will create havoc, not just some small disturbance. It will be a chaos, it will be a havoc which will be created in our life. So devotee has to be continuously alert. And it is not for just the new or neophyte devotees. It is even if you consider that you have advanced up to a certain level also, still you have to be alert. Still, see, Shukdev Goswami, even though he is a Mahayogi, he is a transcendentalist, he is a liberated soul, but still he is very alert in his life, in his Krishna conscious life. He is not allowing anything external to get to affect him. He is not affected by the grandness of Hastinapura or all other places in this world. He is not affected by, in the next shloka you will see how he was not even affected by the beauty of certain women which were around him. He was not affected by that beauty. He was completely indifferent to all that. So he was continuously maintaining his alertness in Krishna consciousness. So that alertness is extremely important for us as devotees. So we have to see that every moment we are trying to observe what kind of thoughts is my mind generating, whether those thoughts are leading me to advance in Krishna consciousness or whether they are taking me away from Krishna consciousness. What is my association, whether that association is helping me in Krishna consciousness or whether that association is taking me away from Krishna consciousness. What kind of situation I am in, or how can this situation be connected to Krishna? How can this association be made more Krishna conscious? Should be the alertness of the devotee always. And a devotee should be awake to the realities of the material world. We should not get carried away by the dreamy situations that the material world projects in front of us. We should be awake to the material reality. And we should be continuously aware of Krishna. We should never forget Krishna. Continuously keep thinking of Him. Every moment we can keep thinking of Krishna by connecting Krishna to different things, different situations in our life. So these were some of the points which I felt were important based on this today's shloka. That is, Tasya Putro Mahayogi. He is the son of Vyasadeva. He is Mahayogi, a great devotee. But he is Samadrin Nirvikalpakaha. He is equibalanced. He is a monist, absolute monist. And his mind is always concentrated in monism. And he is transcendental to mundane activities. Being unexposed, he is appearing like an ignorant person. But as Srila Prabhupada is telling us that he is, even after being a liberated soul, he is very much alert that he should not be trapped by the illusory energy. So, following the footsteps of Shukdev Goswami, we should also try to maintain our alertness always in Krishna consciousness. So, we'll stop here. If anybody has anything to ask or anything to add, we can keep the forum open. Okay. Yes, bro. Okay. Hmm. 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 So while doing that or while using those tactics to help another person to come into Krishna consciousness, we should not lose the track of our own Krishna consciousness, or we should not lose the track of that thought for which we have got this particular material activity or an emotion to preach to that particular devotee. We should not step down to the level of that devotee, that person who is coming into Krishna consciousness or whom we are trying to help. We should try to maybe dovetail the philosophy, or we should try to present the philosophy in such a way that will suit him or that will help him to understand. But at the same time, we should be always aware, continuously aware that what is the actual standard of that philosophy. If we forget that, or if we get carried away behind that philosophical, the positioning that you have done for that particular person, then it will be difficult for you also to remain Krishna conscious in that situation. So always we have to understand that right now, I am at a certain level of Krishna consciousness. I am practitioner, or maybe I am a sadhaka, and I have to bring another person into Krishna consciousness, but I should not stoop down to his level and then try to help him and bring him up. That won't work. We have to position the philosophy, we have to position Krishna consciousness in such a way that it becomes attractive to him at his position, at his state of consciousness, and then gradually help him to come up or rise up in Krishna consciousness. But if we dilute the Krishna consciousness understanding in our own mind and then try to present it, then it will be difficult. We have to be convinced while positioning Krishna consciousness to a person. Like say, sometimes we say that right now, somebody is chanting some mantra, suppose some other mantra, or worshipping some Devi or Devata, and now you have to change them to Krishna's worship. Initially, if you say that no, these are all demigods, you should not worship them, not necessary, you should worship only Krishna. Or you go to his room and remove all the pictures of any Devi or Devata he has, and you only put Krishna's pictures, the person may get disturbed. Correct? So you have full conviction that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. That person does not have the conviction. So with our conviction, we have to tell him, okay, you are right now worshipper of this so and so Devi or Devata. You also add Krishna here. You also add Krishna to your life. You also chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra along with whatever you have been doing so far. So that is one step that he has taken. Now that does not mean that we are equating Krishna to those demigods, or we are equating Hare Krishna Mahamantra to other mantras. But we are just positioning Krishna consciousness for that person to understand. While I am completely aware that Krishna is the master of all the demigods, Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the topmost mantra that is being given for all the jivas. Right? So like that, we have to be confirming ourselves that the philosophy that I am going to tell this person, the way I am going to position it, is only for this person, not for me as such. For me, I know the even more advanced concepts of Krishna consciousness. I am convinced with all that. Only positioning I am doing. And immediately you should come out of it and recollect. Okay, I have told him this, but what is the reality? Reality is Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. These Devi Devatas are just his subordinates, the caretakers of different responsibilities in Krishna's government. So that we have to recollect, remind ourselves, and be situated in our proper understanding. So at times we will have to use certain techniques, material techniques to preach people. But at the same time, we should be continuously preaching ourselves about what is proper state of Krishna consciousness. In this situation, where is this person? Where am I? What is role of Krishna? What is role of Paramatma here? All that we should be aware of while we are preaching. Otherwise, we will also get carried away because they will have so many emotional things to tell or certain situations. Correct? In those situations, if we also get carried away, then nobody will find any solution. We will not be able to help that person also, rather we will stoop down to their levels. So we should be focused on what is actual Krishna consciousness. That should not go away anytime. But we should try to present Krishna conscious philosophy in the way they will understand it, their situation. Just like a small child also, the parents, when they are trying to train the child, they are aware, okay, like suppose they are training the child how to eat. So they are aware that they have to first train the child, don't throw the food here and there. At first time itself, if you tell the child, no, every morsel should go inside the mouth only, nothing should stick here, anywhere. Forget about throwing out of the plate and all. Right? Suddenly the parent cannot drop to that level. Or for training the child how to eat, the father or mother cannot sit with the child same ways and eat like the child is doing. Isn't it? They have to gradually keep on giving some instructions which the child will be able to accept at that situation. First they have to tell, okay, don't make it spill anywhere. Even before that, first let the food go directly into the mouth properly. That has to be the first training. Then we will see about the food which is being spilled all over. So like that we have to get down to the level of that person, what he will be able to understand, what he will be able to pick up, and then gradually help him to advance. At the same time, our level of consciousness should be maintained always. That has to be done. Otherwise we'll get carried away. So that's the thing. Okay. We'll stop here. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna.